cuts will have an economic effect on seniors in multiple ways. Primarily, for many people, this is what they used to live on. And so basically, it will affect their housing, their supplemental insurance for Medicare, food, medicine, clothing, you name it. It's everything for a lot of people. And I want to tell you something. Because of the recession in 2008, there are people who are just holding on by their fingernails to try to get this money so they'll have something to live on. People are hurting.
Scrap the cap means that big corporation that is not paying their share should pay their share so we can strengthen Social Security for the seniors.
We're here because we know Social Security is not contributing to our deficit problem. It's an insurance program for retirement that we have paid into and that we demand continue strong. And we want to keep it strong for future generations.
Today, you will hear from speakers talking about how we can protect Social Security for today's senior and keep them strong for tomorrow's seniors. We also have Congressman Danny Davis here. We will be hearing from him a little bit later. First, we will hear from Pastor Michael Fick.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today as a leader of a faith community here in Chicago, Ebenezer Lutheran Church. This gives me an opportunity to express why scrapping the cap is part of our ethical obligation to one another as Americans. Amen? Amen. And here's why. Because making sure that seniors and others who were promised Social Security isn't a responsibility from which we can shy away. Our various faith traditions speak with amazing clarity about the responsibility to care for one another and for those who through hard work and good fortune who have much to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly. And that means all of us in every income bracket paying our fair share. And other recipients of Social Security don't want a handout. They want what they were promised. And together, we as Americans, many of us motivated by our diverse faiths, will take responsibility. We will advocate for a fair share and a decent life, for dignity for our elders and for our loved ones. So what do we want our lawmakers to do? We want them to scrap the cap. To do what's fair and to honor our fathers and mothers, we want them to scrap the cap. Have everyone take responsibility for our obligations to one another. We want them to scrap the cap. To keep Social Security a promise we can trust, scrap the cap. For a life with dignity is our calling. We want them to scrap the cap. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor Fick. Now I want to introduce the James Adam Caucus dance performing the strap cap shuffle.
Congress, we must protect our grandkids by making their security strong. There's one way when we pay our fair share to keep our future strong. Strap the cap. Strap the cap. Social Security is
Social Security strong for the future is all about the next generation.
Yes!
Now we will hear from us who will share with us why it is so important to fight for Social Security for tomorrow's seniors. Yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Plagov, and I am a member of J. Madam Senior Caucus. Why are we here? To keep our social security strong and healthy, to keep all our society secure, and to give seniors economic security. I came to the United States as a refugee from anti-Semitism, and Social Security gave me food, shelter, and medicine so my family could survive. We are a great nation, but to be a great nation, its people must love children and respect elderly. It is written in our books, as you know, about 1/10. You have a little income, give up 1/10. You have a big income, give up your 1/10. So scrap the caps. If we scrap the cap, that it would allow us to protect Social Security over the long term. We want to keep our Social Security strong. We want to keep Social Security for seniors now and for seniors in future. So scrap the caps. Now I will translate my word in Russian for my Russian neighbors. Здравствуйте, мое имя Иосиф Плагов, я член J. Madam Senior Caucus. Почему мы сюда собрались? Чтобы наш Social Security было сильным и здоровым, чтобы мы, сеньоры, имели экономическое будущее. Мы великая нация, но чтобы быть великой нацией, народ должен любить детей и уважать старших. Как написано в наших книгах про 1/10. Маленький доход отдай 1/10. Если у тебя большой доход, отдай твою 1/10. Поэтому мы должны убрать ограничения, то, что мы отдаем в Social Security, то, что называется scrap the caps. Спасибо.
Thank you. We will now hear from Mark, Cynthia, and their granddaughter, Rashawn.
Good afternoon, everybody. Scrap the cap! Scrap the cap! Scrap the cap!
Scrap the cap!
Hey! Welcome, everybody. And I am Mark, and I'm a proud member of the Jane Addams Senior Caucus. This is Cynthia and our granddaughter, Rashaya.
Scrap the cap!
There we go. Hey! And we are here, of course, today as a family because as grandparents, we are fighting for our future. And a word from Cynthia. She's going to ad lib, I think.
I'm still working today, so I continue to pay into Social Security. One day I will be retiring, and I am depending on the promise that what I paid into Social Security, I will get back. When I think of my own future, I cannot help but think of Rashaya's future as well. Strap the gap.
Strap the cap!
Scrap the cap!
Scrap the cap! Scrap the cap!
Scrap the cap! Scrap the cap!
Scrap the cap! Okay. Now, you know, Social Security plays such an important role in every senior's life. It is how we seniors pay the rent, buy our groceries, and meet our needs. Social Security is a promise that you will get back what we and you paid into it. So therefore, this is one promise we cannot break. Right now, those who make over $113,700, as you know, do not pay a penny more if their salary exceeds $113,700. Can I see a show of hands of how many people are not paying because they make over $113,000? Okay, that's what I thought. Not too many. Just like all of you, we want what's best for our children and our grandchildren. We all have hopes and dreams for them. And we also know that anything can happen in life. We and Rashia's parents want to rest assured knowing that she will be secure later in life. The economic security of future generations is relying on the decisions Congress makes today. We must
Scat the cat.
all right. What's more, Shia?
Scat the cat.
So everyone is paying their fair share. Fairness and justice are the values we teach our grandchild, Shia. And it's about time our congressional leaders reflect those values. Everybody, Congress, scrap the cat! Scrap the cat! Scrap the cat! Scrap the cat! So our children and grandchildren can have a secure future.
Thank you, Mark, Cynthia, and Rashia. You know, Social Security is not the only safety net program that is under fire. Because of the sequester, there have been deep cuts to other safety net programs on which we rely. Abel Keys is going to speak to that now. Where's Abel? Here you are.
Hello. Thank all of you all for coming out, being with us today. My name is Abel Jean Keys. I am a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and a senior who receives Social Security. I am standing here today representing workers, especially workers who are on their feet all day like me. I would like to talk to you today about two important issues: the retirement age and the cost of living adjustment. I work evenings at a group home helping people with mental illness. Before that, I worked providing personal and nursing care and raised my kids. So you know I have been on my feet a long time. Right now, the retirement age is 67 years old. People are pushing themselves to reach this age so they can retire. Some legislators are talking about raising the age from 67 to 69 and even 70 years old. I said 70 years old, are they nuts? Yeah. Is this acceptable? No. I can't hear you. No. Raising the retirement age will be downright hurtful to a lot of seniors. We are also concerned about the cost of living adjustment, our COLA that we receive. Some in Washington have been talking about changing the way our adjustments are calculated and have been talking about a method called the chain CPI. It is a complex idea, but basically what it boils down to is a deep benefit cut for seniors. The chain CPI does not work for seniors because it does not reflect how we spend our money. Let's be clear, these are not reforms, but deep cuts that make it harder for seniors to live. And finally, as a woman and a woman of color, I stand here today to say that I am angry. Raising the retirement age and the change CPI would hurt us even more. It's a triple whammy. We have less access to higher paid jobs and wages, and women also tend to live longer. We cannot raise the retirement age or put benefit cuts on women because we simply cannot afford it. Thank you. We cannot afford that. Congress, stand with us and keep Social Security strong for our kids and grandkids. Do not raise the retirement age. Do not switch to change CPI. Today's seniors and tomorrow's seniors need to age with dignity. Scrap the cap. Thank you.
Thank you, Abel. Thank you. And now, Congressman Danny Davis has very graciously consented to join with us. Thank you, Congressman Davis. And you've heard testimony from 3 different witnesses here today on issues important to us. And we'd like to ask you for your commitment to first fight to scrap the cap on the Social Security payroll tax. Will you do that?
The answer is yes.
And will you fight against raising the retirement age?
Absolutely yes.
And finally, will you fight against changing the cost of living adjustment to the changed CPI?
Unequivocally and without a doubt.
For your commitment. And now we'd like to give you a minute to tell us why you think it's important to keep Social Security strong.
Well, thank you very much. Let me just say that I commend all of you for helping make sure that the wheels of democracy are turning. Because without the involvement and participation of individuals like yourself, our government would be an oligarchy, something other than what we know. And so the reasons are that we need to protect seniors. I just left something called an RML hospital that I visited this morning. And it occurred to me that none of the people there who were patients would be there, would be able to be there if we didn't have the protection of Medicare, Medicaid, and don't even think about touching Social Security. That's totally out of the question. So it is good to see you be engaged, involved, and I'm pleased to be here to reaffirm my commitment to those issues that protect the lives and the hopes of our seniors today and tomorrow.
Our Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky is unfortunately out of the country today and otherwise would have been with us. She did meet with members of Jane Addams last week and committed herself again to fighting to scrap the cap, to not raise the retirement age, and to not change the cost of living adjustment to the changed CPI. She sent us a short statement that we will be posting on our Facebook page, but I do want to read one quote from that. We can guarantee Social Security's long-term solvency by scrapping the cap. I am proud to be a co-sponsor of legislation to lift the cap, and I'm proud to work with you in this fight. Let's give Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky a hand. Okay, now we've heard from our Congress people. However, over the last couple of weeks, members of Jane Addams Senior Caucus and the allies have been making calls to our senators, Senator Dick Durbin and Senator Mark Kirk. You know, their offices are right up there, and we had hoped that they would come down and join us, but they haven't. And we believe that we deserve to hear from them and hear their stand on these questions that we have gotten. commitments on from our Congress people. And so we are just going to, by proxy, ask questions of Senator Mark Kirk and Senator Richard Durbin. Okay. All right, senators. Yeah, you know, it would be better if they were here in person, but they're not. We still need answers. So, senators, will you fight to scrap the cap on the Social Security payroll tax? Okay, no answer. Will you fight against raising the retirement age? And again, no answer. And what about fighting to keep against changing the cost of living adjustment to the changed CPI? Okay. So obviously they are not responding to us, their constituents. And I, for one, get very upset and very angry when we cannot get straight answers from those people we elect to represent us. I think that we will, after one more testimony, John is going to tell us how we can work to try to get an answer. We don't want our elected officials hiding in their offices. We want them down speaking to the people. But for one last, losing my notes here. One last testimony, we're going to call on Judy Wash from Lakeview Action Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Judy Wash, and I am a member of Lakeview Action Coalition, and I am angry. No. Actually, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because last month, Congress approved $85 billion in budget cuts known as the sequester. Cuts that will affect people like you and me. I'm pissed off because over 19,700 mothers and children in Illinois will lose their WIC benefits. I'm pissed off because over 4,000 Illinois families are going to be put out of their homes because they will lose their subsidies and cannot afford to pay their unreasonably high rent. I'm pissed off because over 49 million are being cut from education programs and services for young people in schools. This affects students ranging from pre-K to undergrad, cutting programs like Head Start and Pell Grants. I'm pissed off because these cuts will stall economic recovery. People will lose their jobs, and as people lose assistance, they have less to spend. And I'm pissed off because our elected officials in Congress aren't acting in our best interests. They are acting in the interests of a select few. We are tired of facing cuts and job losses day after day as we keep having to pick up the tab for Wall Street corporations and wealthy individuals who are not paying their fair share. We need Congress to pass a budget that includes raising revenues from corporations and the wealthy in order to invest in our communities, our jobs, health care, education, infrastructure, and critical services. That means no more cuts. As a girl, was marveled by the story of Robin Hood and think it's time for our elected officials to stand up for the people. Congress needs to hold Wall Street accountable. Those who do well in America should do well by America. A Robin Hood tax also known as a Wall Street sales tax, is a tiny tax on Wall Street trades. When I say tiny, I mean tiny. It would be substantially less than 1% in all cases. This is much less than the sales tax that most Americans pay on purchases of everyday goods and services. It has the potential to raise up to $177 billion per year. New sources of revenue like this would allow us to invest in our country's crumbling infrastructure, create new jobs, and fund services for the country's most vulnerable residents. Congressman Davis, thank you for your past support of Congressman Ellison's Inclusive Prosperity Act, which would establish a Wall Street sales tax here in America. We hope you will co-sponsor this legislation again this year. And we are counting on you to support a budget that includes raising revenues from corporations and the wealthy in order to invest in our communities. Thank you.
Now I know you are asking what we can do next. Your presence here today was the first step. Now we need you to take action. Do you believe that Social Security is a promise to the next generation? Do you believe Social Security allows people to age with dignity? Senator Darvin and Kirk decide not to stand here with us today. So we must take our message to them. On the back of your chat sheet, there is a message and their phone numbers. Please call right after the rally and let them know how important it is to scrap the cap. Scrap the cap. Scrap the cap. Scrap the cap. Scrap the cap.
Scrap the cap. Scrap the cap. Okay, thank you all so very much for coming out and standing with us. And, you know, I hope we were loud enough to get it upstairs. Okay, thank you.
And it's not just for me, it is for the future generations. Social Security has been solid for 77 years. It has delivered every month for seniors. Please, they've got to take the cap off. They've got to make it solvent. It's the one federal government program that is a trust. It's not welfare, it's a trust with the seniors that one generation will pay for the next.